David North, Dallas Morning News. Dak's ability to get outside of the pocket and extend the play last night, just how he did last night, and just in general, how effective do you see him being when he's in that environment? And that goes to your whole 2.3 seconds. I know that you like stress.
Yeah, I think number one, he was terrific. We were all terrific at last night. It's something that's not been missing, but it hasn't probably shown up as much as it did last night. That style of defense where they play really wide with their edges, David, they're wide contained rushers. Like there's some times we're watching the end zone copy and you can't even see Khalil Mack on the screen from like our tight end zone copy. That's how wide he gets. So when you end up rushing that wide, there's the ability to create a soft B gap, we call it. And so what happens is if the pass rush gets wide trying to contain it, there's a chance for the QB to take one step up and escape out through the B gap. And if you look at that, he did a really good job of vacating and getting out in space. That's just the first part of it. The second part of it is the reaction from our guys that are running their routes to break off their patterns and adjust. And it's a little bit like almost a fast break in basketball. There's spacing elements to it. There's landmarks that guys are trying to get to. If someone's in my area, I have an adjustment off of that. And so I really think there's a big one to CD late. There was one to early in the second half to Brandon Cooks that was great. And then, of course, the one to TP is one I'll remember for a long time. That was really just a really cool momentum-changing play. And but again, things we talk about, things we work on, it just showed up quite a bit yesterday. And again, kudos to him for making those plays, but also the guys responding and being in the right spots. Because if he exposes the B gap and gets outside, nobody else works to get open with him, then it doesn't work. It becomes a run or a throwaway. So definitely a weapon for us last night.
Clarence, so for talking beyond the scrambles and the runs off scramble, you called the zone read run touchdown. Do you want to do more of that? I mean, he talked about maybe wanting to use his legs more. That he had used them. He didn't use them enough against the 49ers. He talked about maybe that was a weapon he wanted to use last night. And maybe going forward.
Yeah, every game is different. We always carry them. They don't always make it off the card. Each game's different, but again, it shows his ability to do that. Sometimes when you haven't used it a lot, like if you watch the play, the defensive end crashed. I mean, he came down really, really hard, and same thing that Bosa did 2 weeks ago on the first play of the game. You watch him, he crashed, and so the defense looks at it and they say, they're not going to run the QB, and obviously we have the ability to do that. And again, what helped in that situation was they had a guy running out of the post and a guy chasing, and they kind of lost their lanes. And so, again, we're very selective with it, right? Nobody wants to have the quarterback have to carry it a ton. But, again, he has the ability to hurt people with his legs, and he's done that historically. And we're not back to Mississippi State days in terms of all the carries that he's used to. But it's good to show that we have the capability of doing that, and to have it be again, a touchdown in the red zone and things like that was something that we were excited about.
On the flip side, he was your leading rusher last night. What do you need to do to get the running game jump-started?
Yeah, again, I'm going to give them some credit. They did a nice job, a lot of line movement, a couple TFLs. I just think as we look at going into the bye, it's the perfect time for us to do that. Where were we off on our combinations? Where are we not getting off the second level? That defense is really what we call kind of a 9-man front because the way they play their quarter shell, the safeties are very, very fast, and Derwin James does a really good job of it. So a lot of it ties in together with not just the offensive line and the tight ends and their combinations, but also how you get the receivers involved in the blocking schemes. But that's certainly something that we'll look at. But, again, give them some credit. They played the run well last night. They had a couple free runners that we need to get cleaned up with some vision things, guys off of combinations, being alert for run-throughs that will get tightened up this week.
Ryan Todd Archer of the ESPN. How do you get Gallup going? It seemed like every catch seems contested. He's always fighting in traffic. There's not obviously it looked like he had one. Maybe he could have attack man and missed him, and then one that he had that he probably thinks he should have caught.
Well, yeah, again, it's the whole thing. There's one ball and there's a game plan, and obviously I think he had like 10 targets, and there was two that you're talking to. There was the first one going from our right to left where kind of was a little bit over his fingertips, and then I actually thought the one going the other direction was a chance. Those are the plays that MG is going to make and should make for us. But I really don't think it's, you got to get them going. We never want to come out of a game where, you throw the ball to somebody 10 times, you get 3. Like that, those aren't good numbers, and we know that. But we just need to finish some of the down-the-field throws. Yesterday we took some shots, and we just didn't really, we weren't able to capitalize and finish those. But the first one would have been a really tough catch. The second one, I know if you ask him, he'd probably say he should have come up with it. But when you hit one of those, and then you get a sense of it, and it kind of jump starts you from there. But I don't worry about MG. Again, we finally got Brandon Cooks going. You guys kind of laugh, but there's one ball and there's a progression, and we move these guys around, which is good, and make it hard for them to find. But MG is having a good start to the year, and again, when we come off the bye, we'll be ready to get going again.
John Shore, The Athletic. Speaking of Brandon Cooks, on late in the game, the 3rd and 9 play, he catches that ball with Asante Samuel on his back for the first down right by you, and the TV cameras kind of caught you celebrating. You were pretty pumped about it. What did you like about that so much, other than obviously getting the first down?
Yeah, well, again, I just, happy for the big conversion. It was obviously a big conversion, that type of game. I was really proud of the response. Like, we haven't been in many of those games, right? Like, we had a couple of the big blowout wins and then the San Francisco game. So for us to be able to, they end up tying it up, right, to be able to put together a drive and to kind of get refocused. Like, that's what championship teams do. They learn from that. But that was just a big play, and it was a big play because of the 3rd down conversion. But, again, Brandon's a guy that, we talk about each and every week, how he impacts the game with his speed, both with and without the ball. You've seen us, we've got him in the perimeter. But it was a hell of a catch and a big part of the game. And, I love the game, and I'm going to wear my emotions on my sleeve, and that's kind of the way I'm wired. And it's probably from growing up around the game of football. But big-time play, high point the ball, kind of get his legs taken out from underneath him. And, it really helped lead to, just the emotion. And, of course, the play before that, they had made down in the red zone was awesome. You guys, I always try to give you guys things to look for. But the touchdown to Brandon, same type of thing. You watch Tony Pollard on that play. So they got us into there in a 5-down situation, so we had to block kind of man on, and they were bringing Derwin James. It's cover 0, bringing Derwin James off the edge, and watch Tony Pollard come over there and strike Derwin and hold him off for Dak, because it really took longer than we had wanted to take, and Dak made a beautiful throw. But again, Brandon going and making that play was awesome. So this is a fun game because there's high highs and low lows, and if you don't celebrate the exciting moments, then we're in the wrong business.
The tush push.
Yeah.
Dak said they didn't push his tush enough. Why does it seem like Philly could do it and everybody else kind of struggles at it? Well,
I think they were the ones that kind of brought it into the league. I think they've done it more than anybody, is what it certainly seems like. I thought we were a little bit high. Quite honestly, everybody knows the play now. Everybody knows it's kind of coming, and I thought that they kind of did a good job of getting up underneath us. And so, if you can't take their legs out and they lift you up, then there's not a lot of room for them to get the push. Usually, you get the spot, but again, I felt good that we didn't make it. They did a good job and they stopped us, but they certainly do it better than anybody else. If you watch them, they uncoil at the right time. They lift guys up, and so you got to give them some credit in that regard. And like Dak said, maybe we need to just keep working on the fits on his tush.
Yeah.
Joe Hoyt, Lone Star Live. CD was very candid with us last week, kind of just about what he learned from kind of some visible frustrations and kind of channeling that a little bit. Obviously, 7 catches, 7 first downs. What did you see from him, I guess, from a mentality standpoint last week, developing, and obviously during the game? Yeah,
well, I love how you phrased the question, because it really did start in practice. He was a man on a mission. It was weeks get messed up. It was our Wednesday practice, which was on a Thursday. He just was a man on a mission, and we had a couple competitive periods against the defense where he just kept winning and getting open, and so you saw that mindset, and I think there's something to that, which we spoke about last week, right? Like, I have zero problem with a player saying, hey, give me the ball, I want the ball. There's nothing wrong with that, but they have to do their part of the bargain, and he started doing that immediately last week. And again, you never can predict how it's going to play out, but when you have the type of day that he did at Thursday's practice and then at Friday's practice, you kind of anticipate that it's going to happen. And again, first couple plays, it just you see him, you get him going, and then he just feeds off it, and you see the passion that he plays with, right? Whether it's, he catches a ball late on the scramble and he kind of maybe prematurely waves goodbye to the fans or something before he does his signature first down. But I love the way the guy plays, man. Just hair on fire, passionate, and that gets you excited as a coach to have guys that almost call their shots. Hey, give me the damn ball, and then when you do, like you said, 7 for 7 against a really, really good pass defense. I mean, that's a really good defense, and they threw some unscouted stuff at us that we weren't really expecting. So it was cool for us to see him do that, and a lot to build off of moving forward.
Anybody have anything else? All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.